Hey everybody, Spaz here. It's time for another episode of But Is It Power Pop? I've got a fun stack of stuff here, but let me just quickly say that I'm not here to define power pop. I'm here to talk about power pop music and power pop adjacent artists, bands and artists that I think that people who love power pop will really enjoy. I'm not going to try to squeeze in like, oh, Billy Joel, that's Glass Houses, it's close to power pop. No, I'm trying to show bands that play in the same sort of musical universe, but may not always be classified as power pop. We're going to start off with the Bobbleheads, the brand new album called Myths and Fables. Fantastic album. Okay, that cover does not look like it's going to be power pop and fun and bubbly, but I'll tell you, it really is. This is an absolutely fabulous album. One of guaranteed my top 10 albums of the year of 2019. The songs are great, they're melodic, they're quirky. They're going to appeal to fans of, let's say, Gene and maybe a little bit of XTC. They don't fit quite into power pop, but they do play at Power Pop festivals, so a lot of the Power Pop fans really dig them. And, this isn't the only album. They've got more stuff out there to enjoy. Plus, John Ashfield has some solo releases. I don't even think I have everything here, but I do have a nice, healthy set of Bobbleheads, and you should run out and get those as well. Let's talk about David Brookings and the Average Lookings. This is the brand new album. David Brookings, this is, I would say, pretty much straight ahead power pop, a little bit of Americana, a little bit of snarky college rock, but it's really melodic, and people are digging this record to death, and I think that you will too. Great stuff there. He's got like 300 albums out. No, I think he's got like maybe 10 or 11. But David Brookings and the Average Lookings, definitely for people who dig power pop and power pop adjacent bands. Next up, I've got Club Wow. This is on 0 Hour Records. This is a collection. They're an American band, and these were all early to mid-'80s recordings. And I'll tell you, it's great power pop, psych pop, garage pop. There's a couple songs here that sound like the Records. They could have been on albums by the Records back in the late 70s, early 80s, and it's absolutely fabulous. Club Wow is the name of the band. You can check that out at 0 Hour Records. The Deal. This was on Not Lame, another collection of vintage recordings. Great power pop. This is definitely, of course, it's Not Lame. I mean, what do you expect? Not Lame is one of the most respected labels. I think that every power pop label today looks to Not Lame for inspiration. But definitely check out The Deal. That, I believe, is out of print. I think all Not Lame is out of print, but you'll be able to find it on the web. But that's, great American power pop. Here's a band that I know I've talked about in the past, and I like to bring them up because I know most people don't watch every episode. Loud Sugar came out in the early 90s out of LA. Is it power pop? No, but it sounds like maybe like an indie version of the Finn Brothers meets a little bit of Squeeze, meets just a whole lot, meets the Beatles, meets psychedelic, meets power pop. Loud Sugar, it's great. This is the only album that they put out. It is just self-titled. It actually came out indie, and then it was released on, I forget the name of the label now, but it was the label that, or like SBK, I think. Same label as Wilson Phillips. And since that album took off, they sort of forgot about this and pushed it to the side and focused on Wilson Phillips. It's a shame, because this is really a great album, and you should check it out. And brand new from Cool Cat Music, it's a Ray Paul compilation called Bloody Rubbish. And you can find classic Ray Paul on there, plus unreleased or rare. And that's on Cool Cat Music. Ray Paul, of course, from RPM, from the Boston area. And he's been a power pop champion and a power pop artist for, close to 40 years now. Everybody loves the band 4 out of 5 Doctors. Everyone who's heard them. They put out 2 albums in the early 80s. This CD was extremely rare. It was remastered versions of both albums combined on a 2 CD set. I love these guys to death. I wish that a label would actually officially put this out and make it available everywhere. It was just a limited edition fan club only type thing, I believe, through the band. but they are remastered versions of the albums. 4 out of 5 Doctors. The album covers aren't shown, but there's a picture of the band right there. Actually, a fantastic band. Every song was great. Even the middle eights and the bridges of the songs always had a hook. And both their albums are absolutely fantastic. This right here is also a 4 out of 5 Doctors collection. But this was a collection of unreleased demos, and some of them are really great quality. Some of them are taken from cassette, but it's rare. And again, this is very hard to get. But when you find it, you will love it. It's very quirky. This 4 out of 5 Doctors, the first 2 albums, which was self-titled and Second Opinion, came out on Emperor. This was actually really smooth and commercial compared to these quirky recordings, but these are still melodic and fun to listen to. And also, if you're a fan of the 2 albums, you definitely need that to add to your collection. Here's a band here. This is a band that recorded at Apple, or recorded their album in England, and it was kind of scheduled, I think, to come out on Apple Records. But then they canceled it. This was the Aerovons, and it's beautiful, lovely. I would say that probably Apple just said, we've already got a Badfinger type band. I don't know why they didn't release this album, but it is absolutely stellar and fantastic. And you should definitely try to check that out. They were, like I said, scheduled to come out on Apple Records. Never came out. Then let's go to Scotland. The band called the Diggers. If you like a even more poppy Teenage Fan Club, maybe Teenage Fan Club meets the Supernaturals, the Diggers were fantastic. Just great melodic mixture of acoustic and electric guitar, pop smarts, fantastic, wonderful stuff there. Then let's go to Chalice. This is another 0 Hour Records. This is a collection of an Australian band's recorded output. Some of the stuff sounds, very Who-like, very Badfinger-like. This is all like early mid-70s stuff, and definitely needs your attention. This is on 0 Hour Records. Chalice is the name of the band, and there's the tracks if you want to check that out. Full of great early 70s pop rock. Some of it's power pop, some of it's just straight ahead, just great guitar pop. I'm a big fan of The Last, and Vitas Madere from The Last formed a band called Danny and the Doorknobs, and Danny and the Doorknobs became Trotsky Icepick, and they released a bunch of albums. Well, now Danny and the Doorknobs are back, Vitas Madere at the helm. This is a fantastic album, very quirky, post-punk, very much like the classic Danny and the Doorknobs and Trotsky Icepick material, but some great hooks going all through this album. Sometimes with a band like Danny and the Doorknobs, Trotsky Icepick, you listen to it and you go, oh, that's really good. I like that. But then it takes a couple listens for everything to grab hold. It might take you a listen or two to get to finally connect with the hooks and connect with the really quirkiness that goes on in there. And it's absolutely a fabulous record. There's a brand new Trotsky Icepick album that I don't have yet. There's a guitar player that many of you are probably familiar with because he played with the Saturday Night Live band for many years. His name is G.E. Smith. This was before Saturday Night Live. This was, I believe, when he was playing guitar with Hollow Notes. And this has just some great killer pop tracks on it. Is it power pop? When he's spot on great hooks and stuff, it's total power pop. Absolutely. Real Love, Heart Frozen Up, Nuns with Guns. Absolutely great record. Paul Simon sings backup on it, on some of the tracks. So it's got that power pop sound. It's closer, like, let's say, Gary Myrick and the Figures. So it's not just straight ahead commercial power pop, but it's still fun nonetheless. Great melodies. I want to talk about a band from New York that features one John and 2 Sals. That's right, we are talking about the John Sally Ride. This is their second album called Nothing Doing. And is it power pop? No, it's not power pop, but it's great guitar pop. It's John Dunbar used to be in a band called Confederacy of Dunces, and he's got a few solo albums out, so some of you might already be familiar with him. But he and there's 2 Sals, a bassist and a drummer, I believe. Sal Nunziato is one of them. Sorry, I forget the name of the other Sal. Not that he's not as important, it's just that I'm not Facebook friends with him. Here's the first John Sally Ride album. The other Sal better become my Facebook friend, and then I'll remember all the names. The first album's on Cool Cat Music, by the way, so you're going to be able to check that out. Here's something new on Gem Records. It is the Gold Needles. British band, very melodic, very pop, very influenced by psychedelia, by, you know, let's say anyone from the Byrds to you know, maybe the more esoteric Beatles, but it's straight ahead. It's melodic, great harmonies. It's on Gem Records, who's definitely been putting out a lot of great albums lately. But the Gold Needles, Through a Window, that is brand new for 2019. I have to talk about this. Bob Mould, Sunshine Rock, great, powerful. Is it power pop? It's more punky pop, and I don't want to compare it to the crap like Blink-182 and all that stuff. No, this is just straight ahead. Technically, this is power pop because it's powerful and it's melodic, and you should definitely check that out. That's on Merge Records there. Now let's talk about something that's not quite power pop, but power pop fans are going to love it. Jason Faulkner, who was in a band called Jellyfish, as well as 3 O'Clock, and he's made tons of solo albums. The Grays was a band that he formed with John Bryan, who's a great songwriter and producer. And this is it's a beautiful sounding record, great melodies. Is it power pop? No, but it's pretty darn close to it. And like I said, if you like Jellyfish and John Bryan, then this is definitely going to be for you. The Grays, that's their only album, and they split after that. Let's talk about a brand new release from a Scottish band by the name of the Vapour Trails. Yes, this is glorious and wonderful. I don't want to call it power pop again because everyone's going to go, oh, it's not power pop, but it's pretty darn close. It's more, you know, it's jangly. It's a very Teenage Fan Club influenced, and you know, it's got soaring harmonies and great melodies and hooks, and it will definitely suck you in, and you will love it to death. Vapour Trails. This came out on Future Man Records. Just came out actually. So definitely check that out. Like I said, if you like Teenage Fan Club, if you like the Byrds, if you like that type of power pop, jangle pop, psych pop, you're definitely going to check out the Vapour Trails. So do that. You know, a lot of these shows, I always talk about Spider Pop Records, right? That's right. I've got an all access pass. Spider Pop Records. I'm giving that to you. No, actually, I'm keeping that. I'm not giving that away. No, but I've talked about Danny Wilkerson. I've talked about Lanny Flowers. But have I talked about Chris Church? No, this is fabulous, fabulous record. Limitations of Source Tape. Great harmonies, great hooks, wonderful. The songs are fabulous. You know, it's called Limitations of Source Tape, and, you know, kind of makes you think like, oh, is that maybe like a lo-fi thing? No, no. This is just glorious. It's wonderful. It's rough. It's raw. And it's beautiful power pop. So the last thing I'm going to talk about on this episode of But Is It Power Pop is another release on Spider Pop by a gentleman by the name of Bill Lloyd. Everybody knows Bill Lloyd. Everybody's been listening to Bill Lloyd for many, many years. This is a fabulous record. If you're not familiar with Bill Lloyd, but you love Lanny Flowers and you love Danny Wilkerson and Chris Church on the Spider Pop Records label, this is really just a fabulous record. I mean, this is just great American power pop, great pop. I mean, he doesn't box himself in to power pop, so there's going to be some, through his catalog, he goes off on little journeys elsewhere, but he always comes back to that great guitar pop, great harmonies, great hooks. You definitely need to check that out. Also on Spider Pop by Bill Lloyd is this album, which is his album of cover versions. One of my favorites on here is his version of Badfinger's Lonely You, but he's got a lot of stuff on there. I mean, just look at those songs he covers on this. Great stuff there. But let's talk, I'm just going to show you some more Bill Lloyd stuff. This is not on Spider Pop, but this is his new release. He recorded it live in the studio. So it's kind of a greatest hits or look back on his career. And every song, there's no audience, so it's all recorded live in the studio. And it sounds fantastic. Just great production. Here's another Bill Lloyd collection. He redid some of his songs, and there's some live stuff there. This is, most people, when they talk about Bill Lloyd, apart from the new album on Spider Pop, they talk about Set to Pop. And this is that album, and is definitely worth your time. Bill Lloyd is a classic American power pop artist. Here's a few more Bill Lloyd titles for you. Bill Lloyd, at the time of this taping, he's currently on tour on the West Coast playing with the Spider Pop guys, and he's got all these CDs available. So guess who I bought my CDs directly from? Mr. Bill Lloyd himself. That's why they are all autographed. The last Bill Lloyd on this list, if you love Set to Pop, if you love the new one, this one kind of combines it. It's an album that he did with Jamie Hoover from Spongetones. And it's just a great record. You know, it's like a mixture of, you know, the Spongetones are, you know, very Beatlesque. This is Beatlesque, but it's also very based in American power pop and Americana and roots music. So it's really a fine, fine collection there. Anyway, that's it for me for this episode of But Is It Power Pop? I'm sorry I went so fast. There's just so much stuff to talk about, and you never know if I'm ever going to make one of these videos again, because you don't know what's going to happen. You know, I mean, I'm here in Sacramento. We could be hit by a flood or a flying saucer. So I wanted to cram as much as I could in here. I appreciate you hanging out and putting up with me. And until the next time, smell you later.